We do want to go back to our meteorologists. They have been the stars of the morning as they have been giving us the most accurate and up-to-date things associated with this storm. And Carly, you were talking about earlier that it looked like some areas were starting to see maybe a little bit of relief.
Yeah, a little bit of a break from the rain. It is going to start to lighten up along the coast. We're still getting some of those feeder bands, but as we take the radar live now, you can really see what we're dealing with. Now, while areas along the coast may start to see a break, areas inland, it's only just beginning. So if I can walk to the wall and try to do some of this radar analysis there so I can use my hands and point stuff out. Right now, what we are looking at is going to be that a lot of rain, a feeder band still dumping rainfall across Nueces County. I kind of mentioned that when I was tracking this about an hour or so ago, that I expected those feeder bands to go right along Corpus Christi Bay, and that's exactly what we're seeing. So while we're starting to see the rain clear out through Claiborne County and into Kennedy County, still dealing with some strong winds down there, but the rain is clearing out. We still have those feeder bands dumping rainfall, adding to our rainfall totals, which we need the rain to help with our droughts. If we could get this, it's a good thing, honestly, that the storm has shifted further north because we're getting more rain in portions of our watershed now, even up toward George West and Beeville, Mathis, Lake Corpus Christi. So, of course, it's working out in terms of rainfall, but of course that comes with all the hazards, the flash flooding and the tornado warnings that we're also seeing. So we still have tornado warnings. There's a new one that has been issued for McMullen County, just north of Freer. This is mostly over the country, ranch land and so forth, but we do have that tornado warning until 12:30. That's in that area. We also still have between Beeville and George West a tornado warning there, but here's a closer look at all of that rain that's moving through Padre Island. We are still seeing a feeder band, it looks like, on the south side of where a lot of those houses are. So right here is going to be the Packery Channel Jetty, and you can see the rain starting to break up, but we've got a feeder band just to the south of there where a lot of people live on Padre Island that we're going to continue to see rain. Port Aransas, there's another band that is going to come for areas through Flower Bluff eventually. Port Aransas starting to see a little bit of a break, but we do still have some isolated activity off and on rain that's going to continue through those northern areas as well. Rockport seeing much lighter rain. But now for those tornado warnings, here's a closer look. The tornado warning, we're seeing that heavy rainfall right here. That's where we're going to see the most energy. And so with that tornado warning, that's until 12:30. You can see it coming in and then kind of spinning as remember, this whole system is spinning as a tropical storm. So that in itself is creating some shear at the surface, and that's how we're getting these spin up tornadoes. So you can see that circulation right here. Again, this is mostly over open land, country, ranch lands, but it is going to cross over Texas Highway 16 and continue to move to the west there. The one that I'm really focusing on may impact Three Rivers if it does hold up. So this is going to be a tornado warning until 12:30, and this right here, that's going to be the circulation. You can see the brighter red, that's going away from the radar. Then the lighter color, that's weaker winds. So we're going to have those strong winds pushing away from the radar, and then the weaker winds not pushing as hard, that still is creating enough shear to possibly get a tornado going. Again, none of these are confirmed tornadoes. They're only radar indicated, and they are typically weak tornadoes that are typically EF0, EF1, so that's 110 mile per hour wind speeds, but we won't know what any of these tornadoes or potential tornadoes are rated until wind damage could be assessed by the National Weather Service after the fact, right? But Three Rivers, this is an area I would say definitely make sure you're inside with this potential tornado, tracking that direction. The times here are still going to be accurate because at the time I made it, the rotation was further back. So I just want to emphasize that. But it looks like 12:14 is the estimated time of arrival there for Three Rivers, and it will continue to move to the west and then eventually a little bit to the southwest. But even a lightning strike showing up there indicating how strong that storm is there into the outer bands of the system. But persistent moderate to heavy rainfall continuing to push through Jim Wells County, entering Duval County. You're going to see rainfall totals 1 to 2 inches per hour is what it was as it moved through Nueces County. That's what you're dealing with now, and that's why there is that flash flood warning that is in place for Jim Wells County and Duval County as well. Looking at those rainfall totals, we've seen 2 to 4 inches radar estimated. That's going to continue. So we're expecting at least 1 to 2 inches of additional rainfall across Jim Wells County and into Duval County. So that would add 2 to 3 inches of rain for most of that area. So because the storm shifted a little north, originally when we thought it was going further south, we kept the 2 to 4 for Claiborne County, but now we pushed it north where we are seeing Nueces County now into that 2 to 4 and even southern portions of San Patricio County that we are seeing. So that's the latest look at our estimated rainfall totals, our flood warnings, and now we're going to toss things over to meteorologist Kristen Walla and her Max weather computer. We've got 2 computers going so we can bring you up to date on all the latest information. Oh, and by the way, Chief Meteorologist Alan Holt working on that hot forecast that's coming up at the end of the week.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Carly. So we still have those 3 tornado warnings out in effect. The one for McMullen in the very northern tip of Duval County over into Live Oak and Bee County, and the one up towards Goliad. But I also wanted to point out the circulation near Orange Grove, it doesn't have a tornado warning on it just yet. And I just got a notification the eastern half of that warning for Bee County has been canceled. Now you can see that circulation is moving over into Live Oak County at this time. But back towards this one here in Orange Grove, there's not a warning on it just yet. So we are going to continue to watch this. You can see those different colors towards and away from the radar that we show you all the time. That's the couplet there where you get, even if it's not the green, at least the grayish color and the bright red there, that is indicating the circulation around this area. I'm going to pause that so you can see that's kind of the towards and away from the radar that I'm seeing right here. So again, not a warning out for this just yet, but we are going to continue to watch that one for y'all. Now let's go around the rest of the coastal bend to those other tornado warnings. That couplet over towards Duval and McMullen County still pretty strong. You can see the, again, bright red next to the grayish color indicating that rotation there. So let's take a look. This one is moving to the west at 40 miles per hour. It's just radar indicated rotation at this point. So again, no tornado confirmed on this cell just yet, but we're going to track it just to its west. You can see not looking like any cities popping up on my tracker here, but again, that one moving at 40 miles per hour to the west. And I'll pull my radar back up. You can see here's a look at the current tornado warnings. And there goes one for that circulation I just mentioned in Orange Grove. That just popped up here new on our radar. And I will go back to that one here. You can see it now loading on my computer. The area just to, I believe, the northeast or east of Orange Grove, that tornado warning has now been issued. Yes, there it is. That is going to go until 12:30, and this is for just radar indicated circulation. It's not a confirmed tornado again, but this is what we've been seeing all morning, these little spin ups as those rain bands come around our coastal bend and around on the radar. So that's what we're continuing to see. All the little areas that have these bright colors right next to the darker colors, that's where we're getting these tornado warnings from. So not only that do we have the tornado warnings across the coastal bend, we've also got, there's the tornado warnings, we also have flash flood warnings. Those are in effect until 1:30 or until 2:15 now for our western counties, and the one for our eastern counties, including Nueces, that one is set to expire here in about 45 minutes. So checking over on our radar right now, again, lots of activity going on here. You can see that circulation continuing across the southern part of the coastal bend. My apologies, my computer keeps freezing. It has been on for quite some time this morning. So we've got the bulk of that rain now moving on to our western counties. So y'all are going to pick up a good drink of water there. But again, we've got tornado warnings across our northern counties where those feeder bands are finally making their way around. And speaking of the feeder bands, here's one training across the Nueces County, Clayburgh County line. So we're continuing to see these heavy rainfall rates, and we'll take a look in just a second at some of those rainfall estimates. If I can find my graphic here, we have seen multiple inches of rain across the coastal bend. Here's totals as of not too long ago. That this is a manually updating, but the colors are the radar estimated. So the numbers are going to be the actual reported totals as of about 1 hour ago, and then the radar estimated is the colors here. So you can see multiple inches of rain have already fallen on Corpus Christi, over towards Bishop, and even into Falfurrias. By now they've probably picked up over an inch of rain, and we're going to continue to see this heavy rain. So that's why we've got those flash flood warnings in effect for some of our southern counties. So here's where those are again, pulling it up. We've got that flash flood warning in effect for Jim Wells, Nueces, part of San Patricio and Clayburgh County, as well as into the western side of Duval County. Now this does include the islands, and on top of that, again, we have these tornado warnings. So the weather is a little bit of a mess this morning with the Tropical Storm Harold moving across to the south of the coastal bend. You can see that center of circulation right here on the radar as it moves across. You can see the greens and reds changing. And then we also have those little spin-ups kind of coming around in these feeder bands. You can see the one right there for that warning for Duval County and McMullen County. And then up here you could see the ones coming across into B County. So we'll zoom in on these one more time. Here's the circulation in Orange Grove. It doesn't look quite as strong as it did not too long ago. So that means that the circulation is a little bit weaker, if not just farther away from the radar. So it's seeing a little bit higher up, but we'll continue to track that one for you. That warning goes until 12:30. The one over for Duval County and McMullen County also lasting until 12:30, but that couplet again looking a little bit stronger. And then the one up towards Live Oak County, I don't believe was confirmed. I believe they were all radar indicated. But again, lasting until 12:30. So we've got multiple tornado warnings around the coastal bend right now. But on top of that, on top of the rain, it is also very, very windy here in the coastal bend. So you can see that circulation moving around Kingsville and into Falfurrias. You can see that circular wind field. That's kind of where the circulation is centered right now, and it's going to continue to track westward through the coastal bend, through the southern coastal bend over the next few hours. 36-mile-per-hour winds here in Corpus Christi. So all of the green on this map is tropical depression strength winds, so that goes up to 38 miles per hour. But if we go to our wind gusts, we have gusts up to almost 60 miles per hour in Corpus Christi. So very windy right now outside. This is a different color palette, but it'll show the same thing. Here's our highest wind speeds recorded today: 62 miles per hour in Corpus Christi at the airport, 63 at the Naval Air Station, where they're closer to the water, there's less friction there. So that's where we have so far been finding our highest winds, is right along the coastline. So let's push our wind gust forecast to about noon right now. This is exactly what we're experiencing, though I would say the futurecast is off just a little bit. I'd take these higher gusts and shift them to the east just a little bit, but still very gusty across the coastal bend even into this afternoon. So it's going to be very, very breezy and very rainy until the next couple of hours, when we'll finally start to see a little bit of a break in the rain. And I'll find my futurecast here in my graphics. We're gonna show that to you here in just a second. My future. Okay, Carly, if you want to take your futurecast, that would be perfect.
Hi, Coastal Bend. Yeah, so I have Futurecast. Right now behind me is the current winds, which Kristen was showing, but taking a look at how we're going to continue to see it. So I started this a little early, so that was 9 a.m. As we're now in the 12 o'clock hour, I would say this Futurecast is a little bit early or late rather. So I would back it up a little bit and say this is kind of what we're currently experiencing now, and then we're going to continue to see some of those feeder bands a little bit further to the north, and then we will continue to see some feeder bands, I would say, through 3:30 until we finally start to see some of this activity becoming a bit more isolated after 3:30. So by 4 o'clock, a lot of this will be inland, and still I would say it is again a little fast. So I would say at 4 o'clock, George west to Hebbronville still dealing with some rain, but then we will see a lot of this taper off. There is an end in sight.